43, Auburn University Marching Band. For your halftime entertainment, we celebrate the 43-year reign of the Speed Metal Kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And now, let's turn down the house and light up the stage for the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
Wednesday night has returned once again, and yes, that means it's time for another edition of Auburn Family Night Live. We're here to talk to you, the Auburn family, about what you want to discuss in the Auburn experience. Sports, culture, family. If it's orange and blue, it's what we do, baby. Let's get into it right now. War Eagle, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live. This is the place where we get together and we talk about that aforementioned Auburn experience, the sports, the culture, the family. If it's orange and blue, it is what we do. Tonight's live stream for you, Wednesday night, that means Auburn Family Night. That means you, the audience, the Auburn family primarily, gets to take center stage. Your comments, your questions, your topics, and of course, your calls as well, all brought to you by our friends at barnersupply.com. We'll be talking about them throughout the night. You can see their logo down there in the bottom, and you can see their link on all of our posts or the description on YouTube. Make sure you shop with them. They're supporting Auburn Family Nights throughout football season, and we're so proud to be partnering with a great Barner Supply, Auburn company. So appreciate you guys for doing that for us and for you all supporting them as well as a sponsor of this show. So as I said, this is your night. This is always the easiest one of the week for me. And I say that with enjoyment because that means that I get to hear more about y'all's perspectives. I don't really have a true agenda here as I typically do on most of our live streams and stuff. We're going to go the places that you want to go, talk about the things that you want to discuss, spend time here, there, everywhere, all the way around the square. And we'll hopefully hear from some of you all this evening tonight as well. So we want to hear from you now. The call-in link is available at the top of the YouTube channel specifically. It is available on Facebook as well if you're watching on that format. You can access it through going to the top of the chat. It is only pinned at the top of YouTube. If you're watching through another means such as X, you'll have to come over to one of those other sites. Primarily, YouTube would be your best bet. But please don't be shy. We'd love to hear from you this evening. It's just really the show that's about you. So don't lose the opportunity to call in. You don't have to be on camera. You can be off camera as well. It can just be your voice like a phone call. And we want to hear what's on your perspectives this evening. What we have on and planned to discuss this evening is a lot of things. I'll be honest with you. I didn't expect us to be spending time as much on so many different things. I predicted we would, as we typically do in football season, spend a little bit of time leading up to Auburn and their next game, that being Texas A&M. And we will certainly do that, although the majority of the high-level stuff is going to happen tomorrow night on the preview show where we do the predictions, all that kind of stuff. Currently scheduled for 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to ask a question about that in just a little bit. But regardless of that, we still can talk about that. We got so much more. Bruce Pearl retires. Stephen Pearl is now the head coach. Women's basketball schedule is now complete. SEC schedules for football for the next 4 years. We've done live streams for the Bruce Pearl retirement. We've done a live stream for the SEC schedule announcements last night. We have had content galore already this week, and it just keeps piling in. So it really is up to you all. What do you want to discuss? Where do you want to go? This is your night, so do let us know what is on your what's on your mind this evening. Yeah, Stan, I was wondering, we're getting a little bit slow gathering here tonight, so it's interesting. What happens a lot during football season is there's an initial really excitement for any of this content right at the start, but then kind of when we get into the doldrums of or just the formularity of it, I guess, the used to it, people show up later or they don't come right at the start. or after a loss, you usually see a little bit of a dip down in interest for things sometimes. But we'll hopefully get in here and hang out a little bit here with everybody in just a little bit. But I don't know what's going on with everybody this evening. But I'm sure there's plenty to talk about this evening. So, like I said, I have done live streams in detail about each of those major topics this evening. So I am happy to continue talking about those. We're getting news throughout the week about Auburn versus Texas A&M. Won't be doing a lot of predictions or anything about that tonight, but certainly we're starting to get the picture together of what we might be able to anticipate from that game. We got the first injury report this evening. We got some news through the SEC teleconference today about some of those injuries that we're going to be breaking later in the day, things that they're working on, things of that nature. But I've got to say this, maybe just to start us off this evening. If you have not watched the introductory press conference for Stephen Pearl, grant you, it is a long one. It's one of the longest ones that I've ever had the pleasure of covering, at least from afar. But it was worth it. Every bit of it was worth it. I thought Stephen did an outstanding job of laying out his vision. There's this preconceived notion out there simply because Bruce Pearl was his father that he didn't earn this, that this was nepotism. But what I saw and heard today was a guy ready for the task, prepared for it. And I loved the way he handled every different aspect. I mean, he spent the majority of time just with his prepared remarks, things that he wanted to say, people he wanted to thank, people he wanted to recognize. The dude went through every single staff member pretty much. Those of the, kind of a top-down effect of the ones that you see in terms of the assistant coaches, going into the creative staff, calling some of them out by name, some of their just support staff. It was quite impressive to see the guy acknowledging what he is inheriting in this Auburn basketball program. And of course he knows that, right? He's been living with it since Bruce Pearl got here and trying to build it up. So that's pretty wild and interesting. And I think it's also, too, people are trying to still get used to the idea that Bruce Pearl is no longer the head coach of the men's basketball team. And that will take it. The toughest part is when we say Coach Pearl, you're going to be like, for a while, which one are you talking about? Even though there's only one now. And there were two the last 11 years for Auburn since he's been here from the very beginning with his father in some sort of role on the staff. I think he started with director of basketball operations, moved into assistant coach, and then to associate head coach. So there were news about that kind of stuff. So really, we can talk about that in some more detail. But I would just highly recommend, if you haven't, we've got it on our YouTube channel for you, the full press conference. At least just turn it on in the background and listen to it. I think you will find a lot of value in that this evening. So, after you get done here this evening. So anyway, let's do that. We've got our first caller ready to go. So let's get them on the line, usually ready to go. He's our good friend, Mr. Kevin. What's going on, sir?
Hey,
how you doing?
I thought Stephen Pearl did really good job.
I did as well, bud. I really for an hour-long press conference. It was really enjoyable.
But I wish Bruce Pearl did not retire.
I think we all wish that, but don't you feel good knowing the guy that's been the second in command the whole time is taking over?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's disappointing that Bruce decided
he
didn't have it, so now he's going to be able to. He has to retire and stuff. But I mean, we're in good hands.
And I hope the players stay put.
Yeah. So certainly they have 30 days, I believe it is, in the transfer portal opening up to decide if they want to go somewhere else. There's been no news of that I'm aware of. I check out for a few hours before the show just to kind of chill out for a little bit, but I haven't heard any news about
what did Rachel Fields hurt?
He broke his foot.
Dang.
Yeah. Isn't that disappointing? You know what I want to know, Kevin? I want to know what he did to break his foot, because I'm sure somebody stepped on it. That's probably what it is. He got tangled up with somebody and stepped on it and broke it.
And and how come they did not throw a flag? that legal play.
Yes, I listen, the SEC office has said it was an illegal play. They should have called it. It was an illegal play. They, the Oklahoma fans can't rationalize that. At least some of the ones that we've talked to, some of them have admitted it, but like very few of them have done that. I can't answer that one for you, buddy. It was not the right call. The right.
And they were holding Cam Coleman
on that last play. So yeah, that was pass interference. Yeah, that one was obvious, but you can't do anything about that one. The referee was turned around, but you also have to be able to look at the referee and go, hey man, why are we not in position to watch where the ball is? I know he's trying to get out of the way, but here's the main point, Kevin, and we've talked about it all week, and I do think it's time we start moving on from it a little bit. The question is, it's fair to say that the outcome of this game was changed by the inadequacies of the ref. But you also need to give credit to Oklahoma. They still won. They got the job done. They got enough to get done in the end. But we can also say, in fairness, that it was altered by the refs at the end. For the very first time, I can actually say this. I do not like blaming refs, but for the very first time, I can actually look at a game and go, yeah, the refs changed the outcome of that game, I think.
That somebody said somebody said about the Texas A&M game, if the ref calls it fair, we should beat Texas A&M this Saturday.
That sounds a little bit conspiracy oriented, and I'm not big on conspiracy theories. I don't think the refs are out to get Auburn. I just think we've had a very bad stroke of luck this year with refs, even beyond this year, and it came to a head. So here's what I imagine, based off of commentary from head coach, talking with Greg Sankey and knowing how they responded, saying that they were in the wrong there. I think you're going to probably find, hopefully, that the SEC refs are going to be on their best behavior and their best performances for any Auburn games the rest of the year, given what just transpired. And I'm not saying that this means they get special treatment, but I think we're going to really take hard looks at every single call that may be up for questions. And even if they get really looked at and they go against Auburn, I think that's fair. I just want people to make sure that we know what we're doing when we throw you out there as a referee. That's all I'm saying.
And I think Cam Coleman played a great game.
He did. And just imagine if he had kept running that one route where it was an overthrow. It looked like it, but it was because he stopped running. But then also the other one where he did get overthrown and nearly caught it. Just imagine how much bigger his game might have been had he caught those two. That would have been really cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were some good things from the game.
And I think he and Eric Singletary?
Singleton. Yeah, Singleton.
Singleton, and I saw Perry Thompson in there, number 3.
Yeah, I'm sure he got a couple reps in there, and he'll get some more this week.
Yeah, hopefully they go to Texas A&M and beat them. We're all hoping for that. Go 4-1. That'd be good.
Absolutely, it was. You got a score prediction for me this evening?
Auburn, 35-21.
35-21. Okay, I like it. It's going to be a tough task, but we'll see. I think they're going to be extra motivated this week.
And I think our defense played great.
I agree. They played outstanding. I think that's the important thing, and you've already touched on a bunch of those. People need to recognize that a lot of good things happened in this game, even amongst all the bad that Auburn did to themselves, but also had
Kendrick Falk.
Kendrick Falk had a good game. Yeah. A lot of people in the defense had a great Kieran Crawford. So, I mean, look, there was plenty of things.
Did Caleb Harris play?
As far as I know, yeah. In fact, I think I remember him on the stat sheet for the defensive tackle. So yeah, I agree. So
yeah, Quan Fagans played too.
Yeah, Fagans did. New Boy is what they call him now, and then Winters did.
Hey, which number is he?
I don't have it memorized off the top of my head.
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got your score prediction, so we know to look and see if you got it right, Kevin. So we'll see if you are. I'm looking forward to seeing. Yeah, War Eagle. I'm looking forward to seeing you on campus soon. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
All right, good. Bye. See you later. All right, that's Kevin, one of our regular callers. We always love hearing from him. You guys can call in as well. Links at the top. Some of you regulars in here. Unbeaten Lake, we have never heard from you, my man. We gotta hear you. It's not. I know it's scary. I know. Trust me, I've been on that side of it. But let's do that. Rodney, it's up there for you. Stan, everybody. Devin, come on, everybody. We know the drill here. Yeah, I think so. Stan was asking that earlier. He was like, why isn't everybody assembling? We're seeing a very low early turnout on the show today, which is very uncharacteristic. So I'm thinking there's probably an update to the algorithm or something like that where they're not sending out notifications. You know, they tell us as content creators to tell y'all to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for all, and it will surely tell you everything. And it very rarely does. Sometimes it has something to do with your phone or whatever, but who knows at this point. But here we are. You're here. You're good. You're good. Yeah. What's cooking? That's what we're supposed to say to Devin. Everybody's slacking on this today. All right. Real quick reminder, as always, we want you to check out our friends at Barner Supply. They support Auburn Family Nights. I'm wearing one of their gear, the classic barn hat, the barn A right there. You can see one of their logos down here in the other corner. Got some other things I'll show you guys tonight. We please do hope that you'll support them, because they are supporting us for Auburn Family Nights during football season. You can shop with them through the links in our description, the ones that are posted on the actual post that you're watching if you're on X or Facebook. And that way, if you go through there, you buy something, it's an affiliate link, we get a little bit of kickback, but also lets them know that it's good to have value in this particular show. So thank you to Barner Supplies for doing that for us during football season here. So this question was asked earlier, and it got answered for you, Rodney. Yes, Mateer apparently broke his hand and played through it in the first quarter. So my guess is it was like a small bone or something like that. I don't know that for a fact, but he's going to be out for a little while, it sounds like. So that's just kind of how Auburn's luck goes sometimes. I know it's bad for him, but it's like, really? I mean, why couldn't we play him this week? That kind of thing. Let's see here. Unbeaten Lake. I think this was about Steven. I think one of the worthy points for this hire is his connections to is there something specific you're talking about in that regard about Steven? I mean, I can see what you're talking about, but I'm wondering if you have a specific point on that one. No, this is not church. That is blasphemy. But yes, Wednesday night is tough for some people because of that. So that's why we moved it back to 9 on the Eastern Seaboard over here, so that people had time to get here after church. But we're good to see you here, because I usually feel like we see you at the end of the show on Wednesday nights. Now, obviously, we can talk all we want to about the Oklahoma game some more. I'll be honest with you. If you guys want to talk about it, that's fine. I'm kind of just putting that one now to the backside, but I'm Oklahoma'd out at this point. But trust me, the Oklahoma fans are not done with us. They are still trying to always, figure it out. I know it's a joke, but it is blasphemy. It is blasphemy, even if it's in a funny sense. So you gotta understand that, and you have to also understand that humor doesn't come through sometimes. Let's see. Devin says, I was very impressed with Steven's press conference. Listen to the whole thing. I feel like we are in good hands. Yeah, you missed that early part we were talking about, Devin, where even with a hour-long press conference, and remember, even introductory press conferences by their nature are usually a bit longer because you have the AD usually saying something, his or her prepared statements for whatever the head coaching job is, and then the question and answer sometimes. I'd say probably for an average of like 40 to 45 minutes. We didn't get done with his prepared statements until like 40 minutes in, which frankly, it wasn't like it was unnecessary or long-winded. He did a great job of just giving a lot of people props, recognizing them, talking about. I loved the moment from Stephen Pearl where he was asked, what makes you feel like you're prepared to take on this role? And he points over there and he talks about the staff. Mainly, he was pointing to the players as well, but that staff right there is why I feel prepared. And I think that's the reason why you should be, as an Auburn fan, feel like this team is in good hands. If nothing else, their head man recognizes that. Let's see. Hunter says, do you think that Perry will take over the Mr. Consistent role in our wide receiver room? I think that's a little bit like stepping out. This is not a shot at Perry in any way, but Perry hasn't really shown a lot of consistency yet. In fact, that's been one of the things today on the SEC teleconference is what Coach Hugh Freeze wants to see from him more is consistency. And if you go back to previous press conferences and things like that, when Perry's name has come up, he's talked about how talented he is, but he needs to be more consistent, whether that be in route running or blocking, things like that. So, just because you're the most talented guy in the room doesn't mean that you automatically get to surpass people who are doing all those other things better than you. But now with this opportunity with Fields being out, the door's wide open for you. If you've been wanting this moment, seize it, take control of it, and do not let it go. This is your time, Perry Thompson. So I would not apply any type of titles in any way right now. But, I'm really happy to see him get an opportunity. I know that makes a lot of the fans happy. Devin says, hate the rat who leaked to the media, though. They should be fired and banned from the facility. I think unless you've had it confirmed somewhere, Devin, which people say they have sources all the time. A lot of the times it's not necessarily someone from the staff leaked it, but you got to remember, as someone said it, these people are connected. They'll kind of give people, I'm probably going to take over and stuff. But if it was leaked from in the facility, it is what it is. This things happen all the time. There is no more, as we learned with Tuesday night was supposed to be the reveal for the SEC schedules, which we haven't even talked about yet. There's no early announcing or getting to just announce something anymore. It breaks first and then people get going. I'll be honest with you. I think the last time that something truly broke naturally was the Brian Harsin situation. And I mean, people were reporting on it before it became official, but it felt like it broke very quickly, and then all of a sudden it was official, and we see how that went. So maybe we do need to have rats that'll break things out early. I don't know if that's one way to look at it. This is going back to Perry Thompson. I believe that he will be special. We should be blessed that our key young players are willing to accept their roles of limited snaps and that they show patience for their times to come. And, I think behind the scenes, probably things haven't appeared as patient as time. I can just imagine putting myself in their shoes as a very eager, young, talented guy who's been talked up a lot, probably is maybe growing a little bit impatient, but there's no excuses now. Your time has arrived, sir. Show up, show out, don't let loose of it. Now, based off what I've seen out of Horatio Fields, when he does return this season, late, I would imagine, if at all, he's done some really great things to show me that he's worth finding that time again too. But this is time for him to show up and show out. Kyle told me he is my source. If I'm your source, woo, man, we're all doing bad at that point. This from Stan as well. Is our football team in as good at hands as our basketball team? I think it's very easy to start to ask these type of questions after one loss. And so I don't really go into those type of things. I get the fervor with which we want our football program to be back to its old ways. But unfortunately, when you make poor decisions that bring you to this point here that we're at, you have to recognize that it takes time to get back to. So I think we're in fine hands either way. There's no reason to even begin to build those narratives at this point. That's my take on it, since you did ask. But right now, it's easy to think right now that it's not as in good hands with football because of the loss. Right now, with just nothing but just speculation out there, it's easy to think it's in good hands with basketball too. Everybody's got their takes. Let's see what else here. I think this is still about Perry. Guys with that level of talent can easily jump ship and start at most schools, to include big-time programs. Hugh keeping our guys together isn't spoken of enough. That has happened by and large. You do wonder as time goes on how long that can happen. But, he's kept a lot of guys, so many, he's kept so many of the guys around probably longer than some would have. And it's really good to see them sticking around for at least 2 seasons. When the Freeze 4 was build and excited, about everybody was excited about it. I I was wondering how long we would still be talking about the Freeze 4, but here we are still talking about it. WT, just get here when you can. That's okay. I feel like I get to say that WT more often than I love to pick on him. I love the same way he picks on us in the pre-show when we're trying to get our act together for the Auburn experience. Yeah, Stan, that's my favorite phrase. You know it. It didn't have to be this way. I haven't really had to talk about it that much lately, or use that phrase. I can't even remember when the last time I used that phrase. Maybe like a couple weeks ago when someone brought up Gus or something like that on TikTok. Yeah, I mean, that's got to be when the last time it was brought up. David Franks on Facebook. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for hanging out over there. He says, need to finish the season strong. Next year is going to be tough. Yeah. Yeah, have you looked at that 2028 schedule as well? Bruh. Is that rain? That is rain outside. My gosh. What a weird day it has been today with weather. DeHunter says WT has his alarm set for an hour and a half in. It's where he makes his grand entrance. I wouldn't put it past him. I would not put it past WT. Devin, I think we bounced back against Texas A&M this weekend. It was a perfect storm against OU, and we still overcame it all, mostly outside of the win. I think this team has the ability to not let one loss compound. But even so, I wouldn't say that the loss is compounding necessarily the way it's traditionally thought about when someone says that statement. I think we all recognize that what Auburn is going through these 3 games, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Georgia, is the gauntlet. And so it is a possibility that they lose all 3. You don't want that to happen. That sets you behind the 8 ball. But they took care of business with the ones that they need to early. So I agree. I don't think it's going to compound, but I really wouldn't listen. I personally, this is me just speaking about my opinion about your statement, wouldn't say it's compounding at that point. Yeah, almost overcame. That's why I emphasized it. Any updates on our running backs? So Darrell Robinson is still out for the year. Or no, did I say the year? Darrell Robinson had that big issue that had to have a procedure, blood drained on, and so he is out for some time. We don't know. Jeremiah was listed as probable. I don't think Damari was listed on this evening's injury report at all. So that's a good sign. Omar and then Alvin appear to be good. So, I mean, outside of Darrell, it looks like everybody's good to go. I would imagine Damari with a shoulder issue, that's always something you want to monitor. I can't remember what exactly happened with Jeremiah. It wouldn't shock me if it was a little bit of wear and tear with how much usage he has had the last couple of games. Let's see here. What exactly is the extent and details of the lockdown Crawford's injury? Oh, you're calling him the lockdown. It initially wasn't made out to be big, but missing 2 to 3 weeks says otherwise. I mean, I don't know that I think you may be reaching a little bit there, Hunter. I wouldn't necessarily assume it's something that's like being hidden or something. That's kind of what it sounds like. Maybe you're thinking or where you're thinking maybe on that one. I'm just speculating what you're saying underneath all of that. Sometimes these things just linger and they nag, and it's better to make sure it heals all the way than just throw them in there. And here's the other element of that too. If your defensive back group is doing well without him, and your goal was to see if you could limit his snaps, why wouldn't you just let it go? That's what I would do if I was a head coach. Stan still likes the 9-3. I love it. I love it. Yeah, WT, you're welcome for that. I appreciate your appreciation of it. But, that was a good press conference to watch today. I'm glad that you took the time. Everybody should take the time to watch that. Still have the whole season in front of us. I'm not panicking. Don't think many people are, but there are always crazy people floating around who are doom and gloom. I've never understood the doom and gloom people. Like, why are you even here? Why are you even following that team if you think everything the sky is going to fall? I've never understood that. I can't see myself sending a get well soon card to Mateer. I do hate that he hurt himself. But, I can't see myself doing that. I know what's going on. Well, he's a Bama fan. He's always late to the party. That's what happens. They don't know how to tell time. Love you, Micah. Hunter says, I just haven't heard what exactly the injury was. I don't know that they have specifically said. Weird not to get much information with a key player missing. Well, you have to remember, that's their personal information. They can say that they're out, they're part of the list, but they're not obligated or maybe allowed sometimes to share what the injury is. I was interested. I think they asked permission, like Horatio is going to be out for for a significant amount of time, I should say. That needs to be addressed. So they asked permission to do that, those type of things, but they're not going to tell every single angle of what the injury is. Micah has a secret crush, and that crush is the Auburn Tigers. He's coming over to the party. He knows it. You can deny it all you want. We're going to have you in orange and blue before it's over. Yeah. Easy to forget health is a personal thing. And I'm glad you recognize that, because I find myself too always wanting to know this, that. I won't stay up there. I've seen too many fans get into this mode of, well, we deserve the right to know this. No, you don't. You don't deserve the right to know anything. The only right you have is to buy the tickets and go to the games or watch it on TV. That's it. You're not owed anything. But it is nice when we get some of those things. And Hugh's been a coach that's, whether it's about injuries and what he's allowed to share, but other things, he's often opened up that he thinks sometimes he says too much. He is, he's been very forthcoming with a lot of information, sometimes at his own detriment, I believe. My bad bringing up the Nepo thing, but by the way, should have known better than to say that. Well, the troll's there. Oh, was there something that did that stir up something today? I may have forgotten all about it. No, I'm glad let me be very clear, Micah. I'm glad when people bring things up, especially people I know well enough, that your point is just to generate conversation. So no, you don't feel bad about that. No, I'm glad we got to address the whole nepotism thing, because it's such a lazy discussion point without you may actually have a case that it is not you, but the people saying that it's nepotism. But you got to make sure you do the work first on all that. So it's all good. Clay, what's going on, sir? Checking in on Facebook. Good to see you, my friend. As a reminder, our Facebook friends, please do make sure you're smashing that like button and that share button over there. That share button is a huge help as well onto your personal pages and stuff. It'll let your friends and family know that we're live and that they should join in. We're going to take a quick second here to remind you of our friend at Barner Supply. We talk about all kinds of stuff they have, cool hats and gear and things. You can get some stickers, barn out, barn hard. Check that bad boy out. Look at that. Links are on these posts for you on Facebook and X, but they're also in the description here. If you shop through our link, you can get cool things, stickers, Barner brand, barn hard. Look at that. The rising barn. It's like the logo down there. We'll look at the other hats and koozies and stuff throughout. I'm wearing the A. I have it crooked, the A barn thing. So shop with them. We're an affiliate of theirs, and they're supporting Auburn Family Night, and we appreciate them very much for doing that. All right. Where are we at here? It's crazy that that way of thinking never came to mind regarding an athlete. Let me eat some of that pie. Oh, no, that wasn't meant to correct you on that. But I have literally had a disagreement with somebody. I think it was on this show one time. I was like, they owe us that information. I'm like, no, they don't. You're not owed anything. What a conceited way to look at that. You're not one of those people. Let's see here. WT says, Coach Stephen Pearl, keeping the whole staff together for basketball is going to really help us. I'm hoping that means no player leaves. Can I just be honest, WT? I think we all need to prepare that someone's going to leave. Why not? Why wouldn't you at least explore the options if you're not comfortable with your place on the team? And I'm not saying someone should be. I just wouldn't be surprised. But if the team stays together, that's pretty impressive. It's quite impressive. That's like resume check number one for Stephen Pearl. Had the opportunity to lose all of this team that Bruce Pearl built, and I convinced them all to stay. It's probably not going to happen. Somebody's going to leave. But what if he does? Be really cool. Yeah, Clay, it's going to be a fun season. This season was going to be fun because I think it's a great schedule again. Maybe not to the same extent as last year, but still fun. But now you add in the element. I was thinking about that too. As much as we love Bruce Pearl at the head coach, think about the cool things that we get to start to say again with Steven. First, now his first win has already happened as a head coach in an interim status. People will forget that. But his first official as a official head coach. The first loss. I know those are sad, but the first time beating this team. A first streak of this long. How quickly, what will his record be at the end of the year? Compare that with the first year Bruce. Now, Bruce inherited trash. But now let me take that back. Our players were not trash, but the just program, the state of it, the coaching, all that kind of stuff really needed to change. So I want to be clear on that. Micah says SP should do good, being that I'm assuming he's keeping the staff together. Yes, that was confirmed today. They actually promoted some people. So Ira Bowman, who probably rightfully so, there were some discussions about other people next in line for a promotion. Associate head coach is what he's going to be now. That was the role that Steven had. So, succession is starting to happen. People are getting their rewards for sticking it out, and keeping the staff together has been a priority right now. Let's see here. If he had not been there, who do you think would have had an interview? I don't know. I really did. I've never entertained that because I didn't think we were going to do anything else. I truly didn't. People would say like Todd Golden, since he's been here before, but he just won a national championship at Florida. Why would he leave? That's about it. That's about it. Hunter says, I think the familiarity with SP really helps the continuity of the players. It's not like a brand new face and expectation. Absolutely. Absolutely. The ones that will leave will probably be the bench riders and the ones who felt like they didn't have a chance under either pro. That's what I was getting at, Micah. And also, you have to remember, it's not that everybody's trying to be disingenuous in the recruiting process, but you're also trying to sell these kids on this is your possibilities. And sometimes they take that to heart and think that they're saying, yeah, this is the way it's going to be. And then they get there and realize they're going to have to work for it. Didn't really count the cost on that. So some of that could be at play as well. Vegas tourney, first one. Hey, listen, Bruce Pearl didn't get to do the Players Era tournament. Bruce Pearl never got to coach as a Nike school. You want to know what makes me so proud? The fact that Tony Barbee blamed the lack of success he was having on Under Armour. Bruce Pearl literally retired before he officially got to coach an official game as a Nike coach. He won it all as Under Armour, all his Final Fours, all his SEC championships. What are you saying now, Tony Barbee? I don't like to hate on people that much, but I just lost all respect for the dude when he said that. Let's see here. Excited about SP. He is a good defensive genius in that basketball defensive genius. Is my favorite part of the game. Defense wins championships. And you've got Mike Burgomaster, who's always been called the offensive coordinator of basketball. So they pair very nicely together. So, we're set up pretty well if we can keep everybody together. Devin says they have already started classes, so they wouldn't be able to enroll at another school and play this season. And that may be true. They can leave, right? But they may not be able to participate. So that may be a beneficial thing. I bet there's some school out there where there's a loophole where they can go play for a year, then transfer again. So I think there are some things like you mentioned here, Devin, others that are working Auburn's favor to keep some of that attrition from happening, but it still doesn't mean that it won't. All right, we'll keep going through your comments and questions. Please remember, guys, phone lines are open. We are going to continue to leave that here on Auburn Family Night, but, it's been getting used less and less, and so we want to make sure that you remember it is there. Click the link. It is at the top of the chat here on YouTube. You can be on camera, off camera. Just pop in, say hello. Because a lot of times people just don't want to do it because they don't see anybody else using it, and they're scared to. So you can encourage someone else to do it. So give it a try. Let's see here. Hunter says, I'd be shocked if the team was not well aware in advance of his intentions to retire. Hearing what was said today, and then some comments from Bruce. I haven't watched. I'm not on Warrigal Plus, so I don't have all the access to like the interview that Andy Burcham did with him. But there were some things shared that he didn't come into this season planning to retire, but he walked, like he said in that one clip that was public, he walked in and realized that he didn't have that in him, and he didn't want to lie to his players. He's been up front with the AD. I would imagine when asked the question, Bruce was probably something to the effect of, look, I've got till 2030. I mean, I probably would leave before that's up, but I'm not sure when that's going to happen. It does. I think there was some, I want to call it shock. I think there was disappointment that it came so quickly, but I wouldn't say that there was probably shock. Devin says, Jeff Goodman said, Stephen Pearl is going to have to win games this season. Wow. I know. What an amazing take. Isn't that awesome? So much thought, so much effort put into his journalism. Look, you got to know this at this point. Just don't give the dude the time of day. Don't give him the clicks. Don't reshare him. He is literally, he knows what he's doing. I know what you're doing, Jeff Goodman, any of the Goodmans. They are just trying to get rile people up, rile Auburn fans up. And that's what they need to do. And that's what they're doing. So don't give that man the time of day. He don't know what he's talking about other than stirring people up. He does know how to do that. I'll give him props on that. Ooh, what a step out. SP will win the SEC this year. Okay. That's the step out right there. I love it, though. Unbeaten Lake says, from what I've heard, it sounds like some schools have already contacted Tahad. Yes, there were some posts from some beat writers about his agent receiving inquiries about it. Probably a violation considering he's not in the portal. No, I think the rule is if the portal is open, you can reach out to their agents. I'm pretty sure that's the rule, and that's why they have agents now, and that's the day and age that we're in. So I don't think there's anything wrong. They wouldn't report that openly if that was a violation, or they would be reporting it as, yeah, can we get them in trouble? Auburn ought to get Gundy as their PR person. The fiery interviews he gave. Yeah, we'll miss him. Little, thing for him. Yeah, Goodman is a clickbaiter. That's all it is. He knows he wants to rile people up because he knows it gets the clicks, and it works. So don't play into it. Do not play into it. All right. Still got a few minutes, many minutes left, but want to always take the time to remind you of our friends at Barn Supply. We're always going to show you their gear that we've got here. Look at that little koozie with the rising barn down on the back. Your typical koozies for your beverages of choice, whatever you choose it to be. That style one, this style one that we've got here as well. So you can see that one's I believe that one's a little bit smaller. The tall boy and there you go. Check it out. Koozies, stickers, hats, shirts. I mean, they get some creative things over there. There's like, I think some special things that you can order for them. Check them out. barnsupply.com. They're our supporter for Auburn Family Nights during football season. We love them. What do we got here? If Tahad was going to leave for more money, he would have already done that. I'm not sure a lot was offered, or I'm sure a lot was offered during the open portal. Yeah. It just depends, right? Certainly it looks that way you would logically assume if the portal was already open, somebody inquired about him, but that was before BP left. And things, you never know how situations can be or what people's feelings on it are. I wouldn't assume too much, but I think logically we could make some fair assumptions that there doesn't seem to be too much danger there, but you never know. I don't know the exact portal rules, except that they have 30 days as of the coach leaving, I believe. Dad by Faith, what's going on? Good to see you on this side of things. It's not as toxic over here, is it? Yeah, it's a much different show over on YouTube and Auburn Family Night. We tend to be a little bit more chill and relaxed over here. Yeah, well, you just missed me promoting them. Yeah, so this is Barner Supply. That's their logo down there, all kinds of stuff. They're our sponsor for Auburn Family Night. If you want that, make sure you shop through our link. It's in the description of this YouTube live stream. It's on the post on the social media streams where it's at. So if you go through that link and you buy with them, visiting them helps too because it shows them we're sending them traffic. So you can cheat and just do that. Sorry, Matt. But certainly we do want you to shop with them, support them because they're a great Auburn company. Matt and I have talked a lot, gotten to know him over the last several months and really appreciate him. And I like partnering with people that I can trust. So all kinds of gear, hats, shirts, stuff. I'll talk about them again in a second. Stickers, things like that. But yes, if you like it, check them out. Check them out. All right. What else? What else do we need to talk about tonight? We have discussed Bruce. We've discussed Steven. We've discussed Oklahoma, a little bit of A&M, injuries, things like that. Nobody has really talked about the schedules aside from one comment. Are we just not interested in those things? I know we just did the stream last night for those of you that got to join the late night one, so there's information in there. But is really no one interested in talking about that? Or are you just all kind of like setting in and saying, oh, Lord, that 2028 schedule? Because that's how I am right now. It is rough. It's going to be fun, but it is rough. Trust me, when he's on here again, you need to hound him about that one. But make sure you go visit the website. I think 2026 is tough, but not like 2028. Now, we're applying today's facts on 2028, but just look at Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, and Arkansas all on the road. That's going to be tough. Who would you assume gets the start at running back against A&M? I don't see any reason to change it from the way it's always been, Damari. But Jeremiah was listed on probable, so there's obviously something kind of nagging him this week. So I wouldn't see any reason to think otherwise at this point. Says, as much as I love Damari, I would have a difficult time not riding the momentum of Cobb. I think it's easy for us to do that as fans because we're just going off of what we see in the games. And that is a big factor, right? It is, like, I'm not negating that, but there's a reason that Damari earned it in the offseason to get the starting nod. And as long as he's fully healthy and is continuing to do what he needs to do, I don't see any reason not to honor that. Because Damari, in his one game where he was healthy, he had a good game too. He's on the probable tag, but that's just probable. That doesn't really mean that much. It just means, hey, we're monitoring him. WT thinks Damari is a better pass protector. I think he's got the size to be a better pass protector more than anything. And that probably is what leads to that. Kyle, you're the one who wants to stay current and not look ahead. And you say that all the time. Now, you're correct, Micah. And I appreciate you keeping me accountable in that. But also let me add this. To wet the whistle there. I hope you see the dichotomy of this versus TikTok. How many times I get asked, what's your score prediction? What do you think about this? Do you think Bruce Pearl is going to leave? Thank God I don't have to answer that anymore. What do you think about the Missouri game when it's 4 weeks away? This is much different here. People spend a little bit more time and nuance diving into things here. So I'm a little bit more inclined to play that. And when it's a big subject like that, certainly we can't ignore that. But yes, thank you for trying to keep the accountability here. Robert says, I like the schedule. Going back to the old days of playing LSU and Tennessee. You forgot Florida, though. Florida is where it's at. I need that. Like I need air. It's coming back. Florida's coming to Auburn next year, guys. Sign me up. I love it. Love it. So excited. What else we got here? Hunter thinks that Cobb is a little bit more explosive and agile. I would agree with that. They're different style backs. Do you agree with having 5 away games every other year? It's not that I can't agree or disagree with it because that's how it has to work. In a 9-game schedule of SECs, you're going to have 1 year where there's more a home and 1 more away in the other. I mean, there's nothing to agree or disagree with. It's the way it has to be. It may hurt the fan base. I think people forget that happens even now in some of the scheduling too. You're just not as privy to it because you've never had the benefit of looking at it out so far in advance. I will worry about the future schedules when those years come up. No reason to care about it right now. I think there's reason to care about it, but not take it like seriously in any way. Because right now, 2028. Other side of the coin, I think that'll create some sellouts when they do have a home game. It's always a way to market it, right? Always a way to market it. Not if you are Georgia, the only 3 away games all season. Well, I didn't look at their schedule, so I don't know about that. So I don't really pay attention to them too much until we play them. There are some teams that I don't know why their rival is who it is, LSU. Now, LSU and A&M makes a lot of sense because of proximity. So I do like that they're trying to keep some proximities, but there are ones that are kind of like, what? Ole Miss, Oklahoma. Auburn's makes a lot of sense. And there's a big contingency of fans in Auburn. Yes, SeatGeek. So my SeatGeek code is E2C Network. So it's just letter E, number 2, letter C, network, all in one word. I think it's $20 off the first purchase. So if you've ever used it before, it's supposed to not work again. You can try again. I kept saying just use a different email. It's really a phone number now. I think it's all tied to a phone number. So I think they're finding ways to cut around that system as well. But yes, it's $50 or more. Like there's all these caveats, right? They just say, just give them your code. It'll give them $20 off. Well, it's $50 or more, which is usually a ticket price for at least 2 people normally. So that is the code. And appreciate you using that whenever you can for whoever you can. Rodney says, I can remember in the 80s when Florida State was playing Auburn a lot. Those were the days, weren't they? Georgia Tech. Those were good days too. And I agree. I'm right there with you, WT. Florida, I wanted them as the other one. Florida, I'm good. I would rather us get used to reestablishing Florida and Tennessee on the regular before we do things like Florida State, Georgia Tech, things like that. Like Bama and Auburn, ours sort of makes sense, except Mississippi State for Bama. But yeah, I agree. No, yours makes a lot of sense. You are so close to each other. I think people forget that, Tuscaloosa and Starkville. That makes 100% sense. Your traditional rivalries, Alabama and Tennessee, Alabama and Auburn, and then Starkville. And it's just like it's the same thing as Auburn. The 2 big ones, Georgia, Alabama, and then their regional one would be technically Vanderbilt. Hunter says, I'm curious to see if the new scheduling format will cause a scramble in scheduling non-conference opponents. A lot of those have already been scheduled or not. Now, Auburn's in a unique situation where they've got to figure out their 2027, 2028 major conference opponent. Some reporting was done. I think it was Justin Hokanson. Could be wrong. Said maybe it was Nathan King, actually. One of our beat writers said, I went ahead and looked ahead to see who was available. And I believe he said USC, Southern Cal. And the other one was Maryland, maybe? No, Virginia. Virginia is who it was. I knew it was ACC. So I want the USC one today. I think that would be a lot of fun. Really would like to do that. Might try to plan a trip out to California for that, to do something else too. Always scheming. But yeah, definitely use the code. I don't think it's it's definitely per use thing. So if you want to buy them one at a time and use it for different phone numbers each time, I mean, that helps. But I think if you just do it in one purchase, it's just the one-time usage of the code. But any bit helps. It's a small kickback. It'll help keep the lights on hand, but it's very much appreciated that. Especially with the change starting soon. If we didn't have our non-con Power 4 opponent, you got to flip our whole schedule and find a suitor. I think there's a few out there, but I hope we get it figured out soon. I'm with you on that one. So they did a proximity regional rival for the 3. Yeah, they were trying to. The way they described it is traditional rivalries, geographical rivalries, trying to keep some of those together. Because you got to think about it too. It's a business, right? You can't make everything work for everybody. That's why you see Ole Miss and Oklahoma. Makes no sense. But that's why you don't see LSU and Florida anymore. Even though they technically were the two most southern schools, you had to go around the Gulf to get to each other. And so it just, for traveling purposes, it just makes for better things if those rivalries, permanent opponents, are more geographical. We got to bring in Virginia, keep putting the double dribble video on the new video board the entire time. You know that'll happen. I think it'd be fine. But you know, we have similar colors. I just like the contrast of Auburn and Southern Cal. That's why I was so excited about UCLA, especially the way they look right now. They were going to be having a new head coach next year. Well, next year, but we wouldn't play him for 2 more years had they kept it. Said, forgot to add the Baylor with that gauntlet next year. Good thing it's at home. I think Sawyer Robinson will be gone, so we may not have to worry about that. All right, we typically stay on for an hour. We're right close to that time. I don't have to run away too fast. So if you guys have got some other comments, questions, derogatory rebuttals, get them in now. Nobody else has used the phone lines tonight, guys. Once again, I'm okay. I am going to keep harping on this until some of you start utilizing it. We give this for you. It's a free service, so I will leave it open for just a few more minutes. If someone wants to call in and just say hello, I promise you, even if you just do that, you'll encourage others to do that. We heard from Kevin much earlier in the show, so we'd love to hear from you. Know who we're missing right now? Thomas. Thomas is so mad about the O-line. He could not show up tonight. He is so mad. That's what's going on. Poor Thomas. All right, last little bit on Barner Supply. Somebody talked about it. There's the other hats. You see me wearing them some other nights, so you can see all. There's even more designs than this, but these are like their primary ones. This was the original logo they went with. The Rising Barn, and their one that he loves now, the Classic Barn A. Yes, I know the white silos need to be on the side. Take it up with Matt. You need to send him an email, WT. Seriously, I'm sure he's got his email listed over there on barnersupply.com, and give him that idea. Remind him of it, I guess I should say. But koozies, stickers, we've got little Velcro patches as well, all kinds of stuff, gear. Barn Out, Barnhard, Barner Supply Co. Use our link in our description on YouTube, the link that's available on the post that you got to watch this on social media. So help them out, help us out. We're an affiliate of theirs, support Auburn people, and it's a great thing. Yeah, Trigg was a problem versus Baylor. He was a big, big problem. I heard Thomas has them running stadiums right now. It would not surprise me, knowing Thomas, how much he values and harps on offensive line play, that if he didn't try to show up at the, I always forget how to pronounce it, the Woolwitz, the Wool. Oh, I'm going to just butcher it. The football facility, and say, I need y'all to let me go run these boys right now. I'm so mad. Thomas is embarrassed that he praised the O-line in the preseason. I wonder if he burned his notebook. Thomas, his ears are burning right now because we're having too much fun at his expense. He's I really wish we had him here so that we could talk with him a little bit about this. I figure the viewers would rather not listen to my toddler newborn. Oh, listen, we love that type of stuff here. We're not going to complain about those things. Anytime you guys want to call, no matter the circumstances, even if it's just to say hello, I promise you that is just fine, because this is y'all's night. This is Auburn Family night. I don't really want to dictate the show. I want to go where you want to go, and it does give me a break, and for once, y'all get to hear something different when you call in. I have run the Green Monster before. It's no joke. Are you talking about like running the outfield wall of Auburn, or are you talking about Fenway Green Monster? Or is that what are we talking about here, Dad by Faith? Because that if you're just talking about doing the pole to pole, those runs, yeah, those are rough. The downhill will get you if you're not careful. So this seems something specific. If you're talking about the hill over there at the facility or something, is that what you're talking about? I've not run that before. Yeah, that looks like it could be challenging. But it's good for balance. It's good for, maintaining posture and stuff when you're running, creating strength in other muscle groups as opposed to just the normal sprint things. I didn't think y'all were going to see me running like this on the show tonight, did you? These are the things you get on Auburn Family Night. Green Workout Hill. Gotcha. That's what you were talking about. I heard Green Monster, and I thought of baseball. Savannah Bananas coming up soon. Hunter says, I heard we are looking for help at kicker. If you still got some cleats. Y'all don't want me out there. I promise. Y'all do not want me out there. Yeah, WT. So now that you've been to the Fenway one, you need to go to the stands, because it's not seats, out there of the Green Monster of Auburn, the War Eagle wall, and go check out the comparison. Of course, I'm sure Fenway wins because it's Fenway, but like, go see what you think about that. I'm telling you, if you guys have not stood up on the top of that War Eagle wall with a perfect Auburn sunset going down over the other side of the stadium, you've not done the Auburn experience. If I could have a slice of Little Italy pizza, a Toomer's strawberry lemonade, and a Mama's Love from Mama G's, just right there on a little thing, Auburn sunset going down, can hear something going on in the stadium, baseball's being played in front of me, got my family with it. I mean, what more do you need? Come on, man. That is the Auburn experience right there. Kyle would be running in slow motion with that song playing in the background. I would be running so slow motion, I'd be going backwards. That's how bad it would be. All right, guys, we're going to call it a night, call it a show. Thank you so muy for being here once again. I want to take a quick poll of the room. Quick poll. Please do give me your input here. Does anybody have an interest in moving the preview and prediction show to 9 Eastern, 8 Central like we're doing tonight? I just had this thought the other day. I'd like a yes or a no. And I'm not very motivated to change it, but if we got a bunch of yeses, let me know. I'm trying to gauge where the audience wants things. I've seen it gets a little bit confusing sometimes when I have a show at 8 some parts of the week, but 9 the other. So what do we think here? I'm not guaranteeing it's going to change. I'm just trying to get a little bit of perspective here. Micah, so right now the preview and prediction show starts at 8 Eastern, an hour earlier than this, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, unlike the Sunday and Wednesday shows are always 9 Eastern, 8 Central. So it'd be an hour later like it was tonight. Thoughts, opinions? WT says yes, doesn't matter to me. You come in late. I think it will be on at 8. Oh, no, it's all, see, that's one of the things, So yes. Okay. Some yeses. Yeah, the East Coast time is pretty rough, right? Anybody else have an opinion? This is, we make this kind of things. You'll be in attendance regardless. Prefer the later one for personal reasons. So this is kind of, just move it already. So this is, I want to recognize some of you that like to be here. Like Devin, I don't know if she's watching right now. She likes to be here when she can. What's easier for people that typically like to come? Because I want to set this up where our regulars have as little hindrances to be here or not. I'm not just, if you're not a regular, that's fine. I just want to make sure that we're setting it up for success, that you can get used to that. So if that's something that you like, let me know. Rodney says you do you, Scotty P. Okay. All right. Here, there was a couple other questions. Let me, Robert said, wait a minute. Will you go with me for my first time to Tumors to get the famous lemonade? I can't guarantee that. Usually when I'm in Auburn, I am pretty busy running around, but don't wait on me, sir. Just go get it right now. Is Little League pizza good? I've never had it. It depends on who you talk to. I love it, but I'm also not a food snob. Some people will tell you it is just bar food, which you look at kind of where it is, you can understand that. But I love Little Italy pizza. I swear by it. One of the best Auburn experiences I had recently was I had me a slice of Little Italy, a Tumors lemonade, went and sat on Langdon Hall, the hall where the seal is, watched the sunset go down. Well, actually it was behind me, but the sky, sunset down, watching the downtown hubbub going on a game weekend night. And I was like, you know what? Why have I not done this before? It is awesome. It is awesome. Okay. Right. Oh, you are Ryman Lemon. We are literally just about to get out of here. Okay. I would not mind moving it. Let's see. YouTube usually does good, but man, TikTok is a failure of an app. Yeah. Later's better for me when I'm in my recliner. That's what I was kind of thinking. Now move it. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to try it per y'all's. I didn't see any dissents from anybody here tonight. So what I'm expecting is every one of you to be there tomorrow. Because that's what I know. I sound like I kind of whine and harp about this, but I am truly trying to make sure this is something we need to keep doing. And so I'm trying to figure out what's the barriers for people coming in. And so if it's at 8 o'clock being a barrier, let's do it at 9 o'clock. So tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern. Let me say that again. 9 Eastern, 8 Central. 9 Eastern, 8 Central. We're going to move it to that time. It's an hour later than it traditionally is on Thursday night. So that means that though the shows that we are regularly doing football, Wednesday night Auburn Family Night, Thursday preview and prediction show, Sunday night Auburn Experience live podcast recording are all at the same time. 9 Eastern, 8 Central. God dang it. I'm in the Eastern time zone. All right. I'll take a couple more questions here. From an outsider, honest question. Do you guys get heavy vitriol for every other SEC team? I know you guys had fun with us. So, yeah, for those of you who don't know, he's an Oklahoma fan. Get heavy vitriol from every other, we get vitriol from Bama fans mainly, who live in a lot of their heads rent free. But, yeah. Georgia's become a nuisance lately. Florida can get really bad. You want to know who the most toxic group that I have run into in just a small space is? Arkansas basketball fans. When they think that they have a reason that they're relevant, and I mean they're relevant, excuse me, they're over relevant than they actually are, they come out of the woodwork. I have never seen such a smaller group of an SEC fan base come out and be so loud and so annoying. Y'all took the cake a little bit the last couple of weeks here, but Arkansas fans, wow, Arkansas basketball fans, they get something going, they will not let it go. We'll talk about living rent free in somebody's head. Micah. Hunter says, I really enjoy your format for that live stream. You should record an average for the viewer predictions and compare them with real life results. Could be a fun game. You should record an average for the viewer prediction, compare them with the real life results. Could be a fun game. Yeah, I've thought about it's not a bad suggestion, Hunter. So I love getting suggestions from you guys. Here's the problem. I'm one man. And I've got so many things that I'm managing throughout the week in terms of content creation. As we, I say this all the time, and I know it feels like I keep saying this, but as we continue to grow, my dream and my hope one day is to take this show on the road to Auburn, to live there. And hopefully Austin will still be there. Me and Austin have talked about one day him literally being on the payroll. What he does for us now as a volunteer. When you see other people that produce things or give content here, I'm always the producer, such as AJ will chime in from time to time about football on the podcast app. We have Auburn Elvis decided he was going to do the Auburn Equestrian Show, brand new episode as of today. They do that as a volunteer, and I'm very upfront with them about that. And so one day we hope to be able to manage this more as not a sole proprietorship, but also as a business type, and actually have people that are paid help us out with this. We want to continue to build and grow. Excuse me, I'm all choked up about it, but in the appropriate time frame. Y'all got me talking longer than I was supposed to. I was supposed to be out of here, but here we are. It's because we want to stay on for Rhyming Lemon. That is tough to say, by the way. I'm just gonna have to call you Lemon, I think. Anything else here? Can one apply to E2C Inc? We're not taking applications because there is no money to pay anybody or really. And I'll be honest with you, pulling the curtain back a little bit. We have I've really worked to streamline things right now so I can keep things focused in one direction. Because what happened is we got so big and broad. People don't know this. I have been doing this since 2014. There was a point where we had a football podcast, a basketball podcast. Softball podcast was not going on during all these other ones, but that existed too. Baseball podcast, a recruiting overall podcast, an equestrian podcast, a track and field podcast. We did random episodes from time to time, and I was doing Auburn Roots, and stoppage time, the Auburn soccer podcast. Got a little wild. So, yeah, and that uniform guy, right? Whenever he wants to be on. But anyway. Let's see. Auburn fans would attack our team. Recently, Texas A&M like USC fans throw personal attacks that are way over the line and rude. Oh, you got all those bad fans and we've got ours too. About twice a week, I go into Wild Hair and look for real estate in Auburn. I've done it as well. Now, I've not said exactly. I'm not at liberty to say. There is a chance that in the next year or so that I will have not a residence that I own, but a more permanent residence in Auburn that will allow me to have a little bit more flexibility. If that person's watching, that's no pressure. But so that may help us a little bit. How did you manage all that and not go gray? I don't have any gray. I have plenty of hair, but just not what I used to. Yeah, thank you, Stan. I knew someone was going to say it. Believe it or not, and I had a lot of people, I used to not wear hats, and people started like really rude. People started joking on me. Not you guys. Y'all are finding a joke on it. About saying, yeah, he started wearing a hat because he was balding. Actually, I wear it for a very different reason. But anyway, this tonight because I'm supporting Barna Brand. All right, how did y'all get me talking for another 15 minutes? This is the power that y'all have on Auburn Family Night. All right, I got to go, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out this evening. I'm going to try to actually pop on over to the Voice of College Football. Usually they're live right now, and he likes me to pop in and give an Auburn perspective. So if you want to go over there on YouTube, I'm going to try to head on there if he's still on and if everything's working over here. No, it's your fault, Micah. Thanks for hanging out, for participating, being here, and being part of our little family of the Auburn family. Thanks to Barner Supply. Support them in the link. Go shop with them. They're great Auburn people. We appreciate you being here, being part of the Auburn family. And as I leave you today, the Auburn Creed also asks you to do this, to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. War Eagle.